malaman mo na bading ang asawa mo at tinago niya yun sa'yo, pwede bang maanal ang kasal on the ground of concealment of homosexuality existing at the time of marriage? Hi Filipinas and Grade A World, how are you listeners? For today's video, I'll be sharing the case of Jaaziel Salva-Roldan versus Lory Roldan and Republic of the Philippines. Nagsimula ang kwento when Lory, co-worker ng friend ni Jaaziel, working in Saudi Arabia, sent a friend request to Jaaziel. At first, inignore niya si Lory, but eventually, because of Lory's kindness and persistence, nakipag-communicate na din si Jaaziel. Sa first date nila, napansin ni Jaaziel na distance si Lory sa kanya. Hindi rin sila nag-holding hands or nagkikiss. So si Jaaziel, kinonfront si Lory about his behavior. Pero ang sabi ni Lory, timid lang siya and due to lack of confidence, kaya siya ganon. So eventually, naging mag-sweetheart sila and nalaman ni Jaaziel na siya ang unang girlfriend ni Lory kahit na 31 years old na siya at that time. Si Lory bumalik na ng Saudi Arabia for work. Thus, Jaaziel and Lory were engaged in a long-distance relationship which often involved arguments over the phone on flimsy matters. On April 15, 2013, they got married in Marinduque. Pero pagkatapos ng kasal, Jaaziel sensed something off. Nung honeymoon nila, umiiwas si Lory maging intimate sa kanya. Walang normal na intimacy or affection. Laging may excuse si Lory. Minsan, gagawa pa siya ng away para lang sa kabilang room makatulog. At pag nagkakaroon sila ng mga seryosong away, bumabalik na lang si Jaaziel sa mga magulang niya. Akala niya susuyuin siya ni Lory, but instead, Lory would send her a message.
Kung umalis ka, matutuhan bumalik.
With this, Jaaziel thought their relationship was crumbling. 2 months after their wedding, or in June 2013, Lory went back to Saudi Arabia and stopped communicating with Jaaziel. Then, in June 2015, Jaaziel found bundles of magazines with half-naked or naked men in Lory's belongings, confronted him, and Lory admitted that he was homosexual. Devastated, she left the conjugal home. On September 8, 2017, Jaaziel filed a petition for annulment before the regional trial court. To corroborate Jaaziel's testimony, yung father ni Jaaziel na si Francisco Salva also testified na napansin niya na si Lory was somewhat effeminate o medyo malambot, hindi romantic at hindi man enough. July 10, 2019, the RTC denied the petition for lack of merit. The regional trial court ruled that Jaaziel failed to establish Lory's homosexuality. Even Jaaziel's and Francisco's testimonies, which were unsubstantiated by other evidence, could not be considered as proof that Lory deliberately concealed his homosexuality to vitiate Jaaziel's consent for marriage. Aggrieved, Jaaziel moved for reconsideration which was denied. So si Jaaziel nag-appeal sa Court of Appeals. Kaya lang, inaffirm lang ng Court of Appeals ang ruling ng RTC. Hence this petition. Ang issue, whether the Court of Appeals correctly affirmed the regional trial court ruling in denying Jaaziel's petition for annulment of marriage under Article 45 of the Family Code and whether Lory fraudulently concealed his homosexuality from Jaaziel. Ang ruling, ang sabi ng Korte Suprema, marriage may be annulled when consent was obtained by fraud. Pertinent provisions of Article 45, 46, and 47 of the Family Code respectively read, a marriage may be annulled for any of the following causes existing at the time of the marriage: that the consent of either party was obtained by fraud unless such party afterwards, with full knowledge of the facts constituting the fraud, freely cohabited with the other as husband and wife. Article 46, any of the following circumstances shall constitute fraud referred to in number 3 of the preceding article: concealment of drug addiction, habitual alcoholism, or homosexuality or lesbianism existing at the time of the marriage. No other misrepresentation or deceit as to character, health, rank, fortune, or chastity shall constitute such a fraud as will give grounds for action for the annulment of marriage. Binanggit din ng Korte Suprema na ang pagtatago ng homosexuality na maituturing na panlilinlang ay sapat ng dahilan para mapawalang bisa ang kasal. Naniniwala ang Korte Suprema na taliwas pa siya ng mas mababang hukuman na patunay ni Jaaziel sa pamamagitan ng mas mabigat na ebidensya na itinago ni Lory ang kanyang homosexuality, thereby vitiating her consent to enter into a marriage with him. Kabilang sa mga matitibay at mabibigat na ebidensya ni Jaaziel ay ang mga sumusunod. First, inamin mismo ni Lory kay Jaaziel na homosexual siya. Pangalawa, nakita rin ni Jaaziel ang mga magazine na may picture ng mga halos hubad o hubad na lalaki sa mga gamit ni Lory. Bukod pa doon, umiiwas o lagi siyang may excuse para maiwasan maging intimate kay Jaaziel. Nangangahulugan lang na hinintay pa talaga ni Lory na makasal sila bago niya sabihin ng totoo. At honestly, kung hindi na-discover yung magazine, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang panluloko niya kay Jaaziel hanggang ngayon. After ma-discover ni Jaaziel ang deception noong June 2015, nag-file siya within 5 years at pagkatapos noon, hindi na sila nagsama as husband and wife. Kumbinsido ang korte na hindi lang ito basta hinala ni Jaaziel o maling interpretasyon sa kilos ni Lory dahil sa mga lies at deception plus yung hindi nila pagsasama bilang mag-asawa, obvious na niloko lang talaga ni Lory si Jaaziel para pakasalan siya at pinaniwalang straight siya. Therefore, the totality of Jaaziel's evidence should be properly given weight and thus should be considered sufficient as against Lory's eerie silence on this matter. Concealment of homosexuality constitutes of a fraud that serves as a valid ground to annul a marriage because it vitiates consent, provided the injured spouse files within the prescribed period and does not ratify the marriage by continuing conjugal life after discovering the fraud. Hence, their marriage must be annulled on the ground of fraudulent concealment of homosexuality pursuant to Article 45 number 3 in relation to Article 46 number 4 of the Family Code. Kaya naman ang kasal between Jaaziel Salva-Roldan at Lory Roldan is hereby declared annul on the ground of fraudulent concealment of homosexuality pursuant to Article 45 number 3 in relation to Article 46 number 4 of the Family Code. Yun lang, Listers. Thank you for watching. Till our next vlog, please like, share, and subscribe. Laters!